Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today for another CTC webinar. Today we're talking about sheet generator, and we're going to give a comprehensive introduction. So if you've seen any of our other ones, I did a few before. I'm doing another series here. Today I just want to show you the basics, I guess, and some of the requirements that we need. My name is Tony Crick. I'm the Civil Product Manager here at CTC. As we go along here, if you have any questions, please enter them into the questions pane, and I will try to get to them during the presentation, or if not, we'll certainly get to them afterwards. So with that, let's get started. Okay, sheet generator. It's part of our SIM project suite of tools. We're up to version 24.2 that just came out a couple days ago. And it's intended for the everyday Civil 3D user creating design and production drawings. It'll work in the last 4 versions of Civil 3D back to version 2020. So I use sheet generator. The native tools, Civil 3D tools, we can create the sheets, but when it comes to editing, it's kind of a pain. And if you need to create your view shapes, your sheets, you got to do it manually. And the view frames and matchlines are somewhat inflexible. And we also have limited profile view controls. So sheet generator is more versatile. It eliminates the manual editing and saves time. And we make model space view shapes that are linked to the sheets. I'm going to kind of show you that here a little bit, how that works. And it's fairly easy to set up, works with all the current standards and uses our block definitions. So we can create plan and profile, plan and plan, plan only, profile view, similar to the native tools, but again, with way more flexibility. So we can add and adjust our match lines automatically in plan and or profile. And our profile view, station and elevation control is much easier to use. We also have better pipe network to profile view protections. We can do that on the fly. We're not going to get to that today. That's coming up. I should have mentioned before, there's going to be a series of these, another series that I'm doing in the next few weeks here. So it will create layout tabs and sheet sets automatically. And as with all of our tools, there is nothing proprietary. We can share these with ease across many different formats and within our organization. So with that, let's jump into sheet or live demo, I guess. Okay. All right. Hopefully you can see that. I think you can. So I'm not going to touch too much on what the native tools do, but I will just kind of brush through it quickly. I'm sure we've all had some experience using these, creating view frames, and our tool uses some of the same type of stuff with the stationing, selecting your alignment, selecting plan and profile, plan and plan, what we want to do. So we use some of the same stuff. So it'll be very familiar to you if you haven't used our tool before. So I can come in here. I'm going to do one here real quick. I think this is ready to go. I wasn't initially going to do this here, but let's just see. So it requires you need to have these blocks. You need to create the blocks, and that's been kind of a tricky kind of thing. We're getting some confusion on that. I get quite a few questions on that. And if you are having trouble setting up your blocks, just contact us here. I'll certainly share those with you. So here we set our stationing. Let's just go through the options. It's just, remember, all of our tools are set up the same way. User guide right here, some helpful videos, of which this will be up in a few days if you want to review this, and then about. So here we find out what version we're on. We're 24.2. If you don't have it, you can click right here to go get it. Or if you want to buy it too, right there. So here's where we set our stationing. We've kind of done this in previous webinars, but I'll do it again. We can pick here, we can set, by default, it goes from where it begins to where it ends. Or we can pick right here. I'm just going to do this real quick, but I really want to show you my other drawing, so show you about doing multiple things, alignments. I want to point something out with that. So I'm just going to quick pick a few things here. This isn't going to probably be very pretty. Centered, we'll show you that again later. Here's the block I was talking about. Select that, and your print block layer, if you have one created, probably should. It works much better. So here's the distance between. If I set max right here, it will gray that out, or we can set it here to make things fit better. And then do we want to clip them at our match lines? And that's just our view area and what view shape layer we want it to go on, and the drafting guide layer. You know, I'm just going to leave that at 0 right now. We'll change it on the next drawing that I show you. I'm just going to hit finish. I don't know what happened there. Let's try this. Okay, so that 400 worked. I think I just had it too long. But that's what it does, basically, and that's pretty simple on a uncomplicated one alignment, corridor, whatever drawing such as this one. But what I really wanted to show you was if you have multiples here and you want to lay out sheets for this one and this one and this one all separate. So I mentioned the blocks and the confusion. What it is so this is the block that controls it. It's nothing more than a simple block that's been created. I just put these labels on here to give the name of the block, which I use Label Genie to do if you want to. And then our match line here is going to go in, and it's a dynamic or an attributed match line there, and our north arrow. And then this is for, if you've seen any of our other webinars, this is to put a buffer on your profiles, which again, we're not going to do today. But this block right here, so it coincides with, I'm going to show you the distance here, coincides with our sheet. So 29 inches that way by this one. The plan I've got at 10 inches for half to be half, and then this one is 10.5 for my profile, so I want that one to be a little bit larger. And so that comes into play right here. So those blocks land right here, and this is where Sheet Generator will grab it if we're putting them into sheets. Again, that's for a future one. I'm just showing you here. But if I check the length here, so that block is a 1-to-1. But what Sheet Generator does, so it's 29 inches, we can see right here. There's my 29 and my 10.5 for the profile one. So 10.5 for the profile and 10 for the plan view. But what sheet generator will do is when you set your scale, which I'll show you here in a second, it will take this 1:1 and it will blow it up by whatever drawing scale that you choose. We're at a 20 right here for this drawing. If it was a 50 or so on, if you wanted to lay them out in different scales to see what you could fit in there, that's what's going to happen. So let's create view shapes for the main road here, this evergreen road. So we'll do the full length. It goes from here, 0 to 29 plus right there. So we'll create some view shapes for that right there. And here's what I'm talking about with the blocks, how we grab the scale. So the viewport scale right here, that sets, and that's going to grab that block and it's going to scale it up. If I made it 50, which I'll play with that scale here a little bit, but if I made it 50, 40, 30, whatever you wanted it to be. So again, we talked about the native tools, select your alignment. You have to do these individually. We can't do multiple at this time. That's been a request from some folks, and we are working on stuff like that, along with a few other improvements for, hopefully, for our next release. So again, we'll set it. I'm going to let it go at from 0 to the end. We saw that stationing. 20 scale, typically centered. That's going to center it on the alignments. And here's our print block right here. That's going to be the same, our plan print block for that. And then our print block layer is the sheet generator plan print block layer that I've created. Let me show that here. I'll get to that in a second. So we just go next here, and what's our distance between? So it hangs on to what we used for our last one. We'll try 400 and see how that fits. So that's the distance between the match lines. And the view shape layer is going to be our sheet generator plan view shape layer, our drafting guides. I want on a drafting guide layer. They really don't do anything. They just show where the clip line is and helps you to adjust your views if you need to. So I can just hit finish here, and similar to the native stuff, it lays everything in there. So this is how they landed with using that 400. Not sure if so you see here 0 to 400, that's where it goes. 400 to 8, that's our 400. That's what we set there. So we got this little bit at the end. It actually doesn't look too bad the way it landed. Let me do it again, because I don't know if I showed you to avoid our vertices. Oh, first I wanted to get back to the layering. This is important. So I made the filter here for my sheet generator. So I made layers for all of these, for the print block, the view shape, to represent these different alignments here. And the reason I did that is because where these cross, when you rerun it, it's going to find these and get rid of those. And I'll show you that here in a second. So let's adjust that size a little bit. So everything else is going to stay right here. Get to the next page. Let's try 425 and see what happens. And then avoid, I didn't point this out, the avoid alignment vertices. There's going to be a big improvement for our next release, where we're going to be able to avoid a lot of other stuff that gets in the way. Has been a request from our users out there. So if we have pipes in here, We're going to be able to avoid manholes, any other structure, hopefully pressure pipe stuff too. We'll get blocks if you want to avoid those. There'll be a whole bunch of other selections. And also if you have an XREF in here, which I do, we will be able to pick things within the XREF to avoid also when you're laying it out. So if I say not to avoid those and I hit finish, we might get a different layout there. So I don't think that one laid in there off the bat too well, but we can always move those. And if we move them, we get them in a position we want, but then if you rerun it, they're gonna go right back there. So that would kind of be like your last step. So let me do another one and I'll show you what happens when I said we need separate layers for those. So again, these are grabbing these blocks right here. I mentioned it's just going to blow those up. So if let's just see what this length is right here. So it should be, what, 200? Is that right? Let's see. Yeah, 200. So 20 times 10 is what that's doing. So let's do it once at, see what a 50 scale looks like. So if I just bump this up to 50, I'm going to let everything else be the same. I'm going to check this time and finish again. And that does not look good. But that's what it will do. It will lay these in there at 50. Clearly, we don't need a 50 scale. And you would probably already know going into it what scale you would want to use. Let's go back. Let's do 30 just to see how that lands. And you can see how easily and quickly you can start to see how your layouts are going to land there. But you see what's happening there. So let me put it back to our 20 scale, which we are. Next, I'll hit finish. And now we're back to where we started. Well, mostly. So we got this little piece right here. I sure don't like that. But I think we can fix that easy enough if we just add, what do we say? 425. Let's go another 25. And again, you can fix those too. The red, this is what's going to show on your, in connection with the layout tab that I showed you. And this is that right there. And this is your actual, what you'll actually see. And we'll do some more editing and stuff in another one. I just want to show you this stuff right here, right now, how these land. But we can easily edit those too. So if we wanted to do for this alignment here, this Manchester Road. So every alignment that's in the drawing is going to show up here. I think when you do it natively, all you get is center line alignments, but this will show you all of them. So we'll select Manchester this time. We'll leave it at 20 scale again. And I'm going to leave these layers here to show you what I was talking about. How when it crosses these, we're going to lose those views right there. It's because, like I said, the sheet generator finds those when you rerun it, and it eliminates those to get you your new layout. So it crossed here, so it knew it hit this one, it deleted that one. Not sure why that one didn't go away. I would have expected that to go away, and that one as well. But that's why you need different layers for these things. So if I come back up here, and let me select Evergreen again, the main road. I'll leave it at 450. Tell it to avoid vertices. Finish. So now it hung on to that one right there. But you can see it messed that one up. So let's get that out of there so we can redo this. Okay. I'll get this out of there too. These drafting guides won't go away unless you delete those manually. So we're back to our original layout here. And like I showed you, the reason why I created the same layers for these so that we can run these and do layouts without affecting our original layout. So that's going to stay the same. That won't have to change right there. But we need to change the layer. So we're going to go for Manchester, say next. And the Viewshape layer, we need to change that one as well. And now we'll say finish, leaving everything the same. And so now you can see that those stayed. So you can do these multiple alignments simply by creating another layer form. And I can do the same thing here with this tiny court here. And then I'll show you how to adjust that real quick because the alignment actually starts here right before the cul-de-sac bulb. So let's do that one. So we'll select our tiny court. Full station, we'll easily get that on one sheet. So we'll just leave that at 450. It really doesn't matter what we will put there. But again, we need to make sure we got the right layer here. I better go back because I didn't do that here. And there. Next, and we'll finish that. Now you see that it landed right here. We've got much more here than we need, but we can easily just move this. We can move all of this as one. Something like that. Now I can take and stretch this as our view shape, as long as it's within your print block area there, it will print. Like I said, that coincides with your viewport in your layout tab. So I can just do something like that. And we don't need these here. They would not be necessary. And we'll pick up on future webinars with this same setup here, and we'll create sheets and everything out of it. But pretty much that's all I needed to show you or wanted to show you today. It's, like I said, a comprehensive introduction to the sheet generator. So we have our profile view settings here as well. Once you get everything set up, we can create our profiles, which again we'll do in a future webcast. And then pipe networks, we'll push those to our views as well. Show you how to adjust our profiles, and then we can move our stuff on our profiles, our data on our profiles, and then our profile view shapes, and we'll create layouts, and then we'll update the layouts in future webinars. Try to keep these short because I know your time is valuable and appreciate you watching. But that's really all I had to show today. just kind of the flexibility and some of the confusing things, especially with these blocks. And we'll get into that a little more, but it's nothing more than creating a polyline really and turning it into a block. That's nothing more to it. It's nothing that magical. But again, if you're struggling with it, please contact us and I'd be happy to share that stuff with you. Along with, I'd give you the layout tabs too if you want those. Saves your setup time. So thank you for joining us. It's again part of our CTC Sim Project suite of tools. We also have our Sim Management suite of tools. Again, just went up to 24.2. If you want some more information, if you don't have it, you can contact us here at CTC Software or your local reseller. And if you have any ideas or need help, you can contact us here as well through our support. We always like to hear your ideas and ways to improve our stuff. We're building these tools for you, the user, to make your work go more efficiently. So with that, again, thank you for all who joined today. Appreciate you taking the time.